Hey folks, we're live for our Tuesday quiz. I see that we have new people here. That's wonderful. Hello to you, Nick from Myanmar. Wonderful, wonderful. So this is our quiz. Every week I come here after my live stream on EWA and offer everyone a quiz based on the topic that we're talking about. And our topic today happens to be Greek mythology. It's our topic actually for the week. I will do a live stream tomorrow here as well with the second half with 4 stories. We will talk about tomorrow. Hold on, let me take a look and see. We'll talk about, hold on, let me go back up here and see. Where's Wednesday? We will talk about the Minotaur and the Labyrinth. Hey, Yuki darling, still going strong. Very cool. We will talk about, hold on. Persephone and the underworld myth. We will have the Trojan horse. Hey, Kaluna, take 2. And we will have the birth of Athena. So we have 4 stories tomorrow that we will cover. But today I have a nice quiz prepared. Hello, Lorena. Hello, hello. I have a nice quiz for us with lots of extra information. And Lorena, I think that you are pretty educated on this topic, so please feel free to help us out. I'm always a little nervous about topics I don't know anything about. This knowledge is very fresh for me. I learned about this over the weekend. So without further ado, I'm going to move myself over to here, and ta-da! We have our first question for the day. Number 1, Greek mythology. I'm going to try to make this slightly bigger and to get away without using my magnifying glass. Let me see if I can move this a little bit here, move this a little bit here, and then, okay, nope, not happening. So anyway, how many children did Zeus have according to myth? Fewer than 10, and all of them were gods, about 20, mostly demigods. And we said that demigods are half human and half gods. Or over 100, including gods, mortals. Mortals is a word we actually didn't cover, and we totally should have. Mortals I have in pink, yes. And that is a person who can die. So a god is a being that cannot die, and a mortal is someone who can die. Hi, Michaela. You are very curious about this topic. Oh, cool, Yuki. I'm glad. That's very cool. All right, so what do you think? How many kids? Zeus is the god of all gods. I learned that first, like in Greek mythology, it started that the earth was chaos. And then came Gaia and I think Uranus. And Uranus was somehow her child, but they ended up having the gods. They had a lot of different, they had the Titans. They had Titans. And then those Titans, that group of beings, ended up having the gods who controlled Mount Olympus. And Zeus is the king of the gods. He's kind of like the god of the gods. So Kaluna, you're saying A, fewer than 10 gods. Yuki's saying C, over 100. Lorena is going with B, almost about 20. So the correct answer is C. Renata, hey, wasn't there something about kids coming out of his head? That's happening tomorrow. You are correct. You are correct. So the correct answer is C. Zeus did not have TV, and he really enjoyed romance. Over 100, including gods, mortals, and monsters. Zeus, the king of the gods, was famous for his romantic escapades, or like his romantic adventures, resulting in many demigods and heroes like Hercules, Perseus, I have no idea. Helen of Troy. He often disguised himself as animals, or a bull or a swan, even a golden shower to win over the ladies. So Zeus had a little romantic flair, and one lady was not enough. So, all right, that's Zeus. Let's move on to what started the Trojan War. Okay, let me remove this. And if you have anything that you want to add to this information, please, please, please feel free to do so. That's exactly what my lessons are for, is for us to learn and share together. Otherwise, here is number 2. What event led to the start of the Trojan War? Was it A, the theft of a sacred cow? And we learned sacred in our last lesson. So sacred being something that is respected and honored, not holy, a sacred cow. B, a fight over gold, or C, a beauty contest between the goddesses. So let's see. So everybody's answering C so far. Anybody else want to throw in an answer? Helena. Oh, yes. Helen of Troy. Or yes, Helen of Troy. She's in the story. Definitely. Okay, so everybody's guessing C, a beauty contest between the goddesses, which is correct. So here is the story. Eris, the goddess of discord. So discord is when you want to argue and fight and cause trouble. Okay, so Eris was not invited to a big wedding at Mount Olympus, and she got very upset and wanted to cause chaos. So she threw an apple, a golden apple, with the words, "For the fairest." So fair being beautiful. We also have the Disney, well, it's not Disney, it's probably Brothers Grimm, I don't know. But with Snow White, the witch, she looks into the mirror, who's the fairest of them all? And so who's the most beautiful? Fair is an old-fashioned word for beautiful. So she wrote on the apple, "For the fairest," for the most beautiful. And so then it fell into the party. And 3 goddesses said, "Well, I'm the most beautiful." And so there was Hera, the god of gods, Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war, and Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty. And all of them said that they were the most beautiful. They deserved the apple. So they took the apple and they all went over to a mortal, so person who can die, mortal prince named Paris of Troy. And they asked him to decide who was the most beautiful. Hey, Louisa, welcome back. So they asked him to decide who was the most beautiful from all of the goddesses. And so Paris chose Aphrodite because they all decided that, they all said that, they would give him something if he said they were the most beautiful. And so Paris of Troy, the man, he chose Aphrodite because she promised him the most beautiful woman in the world, Helen. The problem was that Helen was already married to a Greek king, Menelaus. Menelaus? That's what I'm going with, Menelaus. So Paris took Helen to Troy. So beautiful Helen had to go. And this made the Greeks very angry. And this led to a 10-year-long Trojan War as the Greeks tried to get Helen back. So Alessio, you're absolutely correct. This nonsense started because of a beauty contest where 3 goddesses were trying to say, pick me, I'm the most beautiful. And so I thought that was kind of funny. But I think actually it started because Eris didn't get invited to a party. So invite the grumpy people. I think it's the moral of the story. Invite the people. No, don't. But anyway, all right. So let's move on to number 3. And where are we headed? We're headed back to Pandora's box. This I thought was super interesting as well. For those of you who know a lot about Greek mythology, maybe you already know this. I did not, but I clearly don't know a lot about Greek mythology. Here we go. And doof. Nope. Yeah, here we go. What was Pandora's box actually? in Greek mythology. So we have the idiom that we use all the time, oh, don't open Pandora's box, or that's like opening Pandora's box. But it wasn't actually a box. Due to a bad translation from Greek to Latin, something got mixed up along the way. And was it actually supposed to be a large jar, so like a glass jar where you can put stuff in? Hello, Demethu, welcome. Or was it a golden treasure chest? Or was it a wooden chest? What do you think? It's a shame that even gods are struggling with lookism. I know. And that's the interesting thing with the Greek gods is they're very human. They're very, like, despite their amazing powers, they're really, really human in like not a great way. Okay, so Michaela's going with, everybody's going with A. It was a jar. It was a jar. So yeah, so actually, because of this bad translation from Greek to Latin, it ended up becoming a box, and that's kind of somehow stuck. Like nobody has changed it to jar, Pandora's jar. Lookism, like when somebody is obsessed with the way that they look, then it's lookism, or they judge people because of the way that they look, better said. All right, so moving on to our next one. And if anybody wants to add anything, please do so. I will continue on, but you're more than welcome to add anything. We have a word, a name that I probably am going to butcher. So let's see. So today I'm butchering Greek words and not Italian words. So, all right, here's number 4 for us. Let's see. All right. And here we go. So, why was Prometheus? I have no idea. Why was Prometheus punished by Zeus? A, he tricked Hera, a goddess. B, he stole fire and gave it to humans. C, he led a rebellion on Mount Olympus. So what do you think? Why did Zeus decide to punish this god? Why do you think? Lorena's saying he stole fire and gave it to humans. Any other guesses? Yuki's going with B, question mark. Hey, Natalia. I don't know if I've already said hello to you, but welcome and hello, even if it's for a second time. For A, Kay Kaluna's going with A, question mark. I don't know. All right, Nick. By the way, they have GL in their era. I don't know what GL is. I don't know what that is. Can you explain that, please? I'm not sure what that means. Alicia's going with A as well. So the answer is actually, Michaela's going with B. The answer is B. He stole fire and gave it to humans. So this god that I cannot pronounce his name, Prometheus or so, he was the person who created humans. He shaped humans out of clay, and clay is like what you use to create a vase or a bowl. It's the soft sort of dirt, if you will. It's the clay. No, it's the material you used. It's soft. You put some, like, think of the movie Ghost. When you create pottery, you need clay. And so he created humans. Girl love. I have no idea. I don't know. I think you'd have to Google that one. I don't know. So he shaped humans from clay and gave them fire. And fire was a divine secret. And this angered, thank you very much, Sticky Mud. Thank you. I'm going to pop that up there. Thank you very much, Renata. And this angered Zeus so much, it made him so angry that he punished Prometheus this is so cruel. This is so mean. He chained him to a rock where an eagle flew down every single night and ate his liver. So this organ that we have that cleans the blood and stores energy every day, but it regrew every night. So during the day, this bird would come and eat him eat this organ in his body, and at night he would regrow it. That sounds horrible. Zeus ordered, okay, here we go, Michaela, Prometheus, whatever his name is, to be chained to a rock in the Caucasus Mountains. Yes, and have his liver eaten. I think Nick means girlfriend. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. You have to Google that. I'm not quite sure. All right, so disgusting, moving on. And we're heading to another story about Medusa. So for those of you who have learned about these gods, she's the one with the snakes in her hair. Actually a victim, my opinion, just putting it out there. But yes, so let's see. Remove and let's see, add new one. And we need number 5. And again, like I said, if you have anything to add, I love hearing what you have to say. Thank you, Renata, for your easy definition of sticky clay. To this day, liver is the only organ that is capable of regenerating itself. Maybe that's interesting. Okay. I wonder if that's somehow related to the story somehow. I don't know. Interesting. Thank you, Renata. Okay, so our next question, number 5. What was Medusa before she became a monster? She was A, a warrior, B, a beautiful mortal woman, or C, a cursed oracle. And I should have put oracle in pink. If anybody would like to describe oracle, you're more than welcome to do so. Hey, Leah. So lots of B's coming in. You'll guess B. Yuki's saying B. Natalia's saying B. Everyone's saying B, and that is correct. We learned that in our lesson as well, that she was a beautiful woman who got taken advantage of, and she was the one who got punished. So unfair. And I had more information for you. Yeah, no, I think that's it. I think that's good. So yes, she was actually a victim and ended up being the one who received the punishment for it. All right, so next one, we're heading on to yes, a cursed nymph. All right, a word that we use today. So let's see, that comes from that. Medusa is generally described as a woman with living snakes in the place of hair. Her appearance was so hideous that anyone who looked upon her was turned to stone. Exactly. Poor lady. I mean, yeah. And then she got decapitated. It's just unkind. I don't like that story. I feel so sorry for her. I want to vindicate her somehow. Anyway, so, okay, which word comes from the name of a cursed nymph in Greek mythology? And a nymph is sort of like this little spirit, this sort of fairy kind of thing. They usually live in forest, young and beautiful, immortal, or they live very long. They live in forest, rivers, mountains, often peaceful, but sometimes a little naughty. So they are not gods, but they are supernatural. Yes. So Lorena's going with A, echo. So which word comes from the name of a cursed nymph? Was it echo, shadow, or whistle? And just as a reminder, our shadow is the thing that we see behind us when the sun is shining the right way, or in a way that casts a shadow, that we see a double version of ourself, or the outline, let's say. C, whistle is... All right, so everybody's saying A, and the answer is correct. It's echo. So echo is when you stand at the top of a mountain and you echo, echo, echo. You hear the sound repeat. All right, and this is kind of a cute story. So this is why I included this, because I like that you have echo as a word that has somehow gotten into the language because of this little naughty nymph. So echo was a talkative mountain nymph who loved to chat. She distracted Hera, the queen of the gods, with endless small talk, while Zeus, remember we said Zeus, he was a lover, while Zeus snuck off to visit other nymphs. When Hera found out that Echo had been covering for Zeus, she got angry and cursed Echo so that she could only repeat last words others said. She never could speak her own thoughts again. So this comes from that. So she was cursed to always repeat the last word that someone said, or the last words. So I thought that was kind of funny. So Echo tried to distract Hera so Zeus could go off and make some more babies. And then she found out what Hera was doing and cursed her so that she couldn't really talk anything. She couldn't say anything anymore. No one would listen to her because it wasn't any pure thought. And she couldn't distract anyone anymore. That was that, Medusa needs a happier ending somehow. Well, I don't know. All right. So now we're moving on to where we have psychological definitions that have been added based on Greek mythology. So let's see. Number 7. And so, which famous psychological theory was named after a figure in Greek mythology? Was it inferiority complex, Oedipus complex, or cognitive dissonance? What can you tell me? And I have a story for you, and you can tell me, do you want the short version? Do you want the long version? So let me know in the comments as well, short or long, and what you think that the answer is that Freud came up with. This was a Freudian term, a term that Freud came up with. So B, Oedipus complex, okay? All right, so that is the correct one. And there is a story, Freud named the Oedipus complex after the myth Oedipus, who unknowingly killed his father and married his mother. The idea explores unconscious desires and guilt. So there's a story to this. I don't know if you want the long story or the short story. You can tell me. Never heard that. Okay, I have definitions for the other ones as well. So this topic is so out of my league, but so interesting. It's out of my league too, I swear. So inferiority complex is when you feel that you are not good enough. Inferior is a great word, meaning that you don't feel equal with people. You feel less than someone, then you feel inferior. You don't feel, the opposite would be superior. Maybe you've heard that word before. I will type it in the comments here. Superior. Oh no, O-O-U. Superior. I hope I've spelled that right. I can barely see. Superior. Okay, so superior, you feel great, you're better than everyone. Inferior, you're worse than everyone. Short story, okay. Short story was basically that, that there was a prophecy, which is something that is sort of put out into the universe, that said that there would be someone who kills their father and marries their mother. And all of the people involved heard this prophecy and they tried to do things to make it so that it didn't happen. And it actually happened. And it's a story basically saying that you can try to control things, but at the end of the day, your fate is your fate. So things are going to be what they're going to be. And yeah, that's the story. That's the short story. Never heard these words. Okay, and then also cognitive dissonance is feeling uncomfortable when your actions don't match your beliefs. So I say, true thing, I want to lose weight, and I'm going to need to lose weight. And then I go and eat these. Right? So my actions don't really match what I want. There's cognitive dissonance in what my actions are and what I want. So your actions don't match, align well with what you actually want. Sometimes feeling superior is illusion for a disease. Yes, illusions of grandeur. Exactly. Yeah, that's true. Okay. So moving on to number 8, and we're going to the underworld. which this is also something kind of interesting. I have learned so much this week. I don't know who asked to do this topic, but it's been a real treat, actually, learning so many new things. All right, so let's see. Number 9. Ancient Greeks explained many natural events with stories about gods, right? For example, oh no, sorry. I've gone to 9, but we need to 8. We'll go back. Sorry. The ancient Greeks explained many natural events with stories about gods. For example, Zeus was said to cause thunderstorms. I guess that's lightning, but thunder. And Demeter's grief explained the changing of the seasons. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Which god did the Greeks believed caused earthquakes? Was it A, Apollo? Was it B, Poseidon? Or was it C, Hermes? What would you say? Oops, let me get your answers. Boom. All right. So Natalia, you're going with C, Hermes. And I'm so used to saying the pronunciation, the French pronunciation of the expensive purses, but evidently it's supposed to be Hermes, Hermes. So lots of B's, a C, an A. Okay, so the answer is actually B, Poseidon. Good guess, Yuki. And he was the god of the ocean, of the seas. So when Poseidon got really mad, he would bang on the ground and it would cause earthquakes. And that was what, he was upset and he needed to be calmed. I love that they had these explanations for different things that could not be explained. All right, moving back to 8, because I mixed that one up. I hope that's 8. And moving to the underworld. Let's hope. Yes. Okay. So what kind of ruler was Hades, god of the underworld, according to myth? So this is the underworld. This is like death. This is where death is. Was he A, evil and cruel like the devil? Was he B, kind and forgiving? Or C, fair and strict? Like he was fair, but don't mess with him. Not evil. Which would you say? So strict, you can have a strict teacher, a strict parent. You can't get away with a lot of nonsense then if someone is strict. But strict is not necessarily bad. It's just that they have certain expectations. So Alessio's going with A, Yuki is going with C, Kaluna, C. Any other guesses? Lorena with C. Oh, sorry, Alessio, the other one was for the last one, sorry. All right, everyone's guessing C. Natalia's going with A. Leah, A. All right. And the answer is actually C. He was fair and strict and not evil. Hades ruled the underworld, but he wasn't like in the biblical sense, he wasn't like Satan. He was actually fair and just, and his realm wasn't just for punishment. There were areas in the underworld that were areas of peace, but he also had areas for punishment. So he kind of had both. So I guess if you had been a good person in life, you would go to a peaceful area. And if not, you would go to a bad area. I think Michaela and Lorena, you know a lot more about Greek mythology. So if you do, if I'm correct, please let me know. I'm making this up right now. I don't really know. Because that kind of sounds like heaven and hell. But in this case, it would be one area for both. All right, and last but not least, we are moving on to a question related to another vocabulary word that has made its way into the language. And let's see, this is probably easy because this is such a trendy word these days. Everybody knows someone that's this these days. So why do we use the word narcissist today? Was it A, because Narcissus was a famous Greek warrior, or B, because Narcissus fell in love with his own reflection? So if you reflect something, you see something. It can reflect like mirror and light. B, 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 Natalia, you're cute. Or C, because Narcissus was the god of love, loving him so. Anyway, so what can you tell me? A, B, or C? We have lots of people with B, 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 B. B, 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 because the meaning of the word, right? And it's such a word that's become so trendy, I find nowadays, that everybody talks about, oh, you're just such a narcissist. 10 ways to spot a narcissist. It's not something that, yeah, it's everywhere. So yes, of course, B is correct. He fell in love with his own reflection. Here's the story. Narcissus was a handsome young man who was very proud of his looks. One day, while walking near a clear pool of water, he saw his own reflection for the first time. He fell deeply in love with the image staring back at him, but it was just his reflection. He couldn't leave the water because he was so enchanted by himself. Narcissus stayed there, gazing at his reflection until he wasted away and died. So Narcissus couldn't leave his own reflection, and so he stayed there, continuing to gaze at himself, thinking that he's something super special. And yeah, so I love these kinds of things. I think they're very interesting. So whoever was the person who ended up suggesting this, thank you. This is one of those topics I would never think that I would cover because I don't know anything about it. I've had to really educate myself about this topic. But it's been interesting. I've learned it. It's here for 5 minutes. It's probably gone next week, but these 5 minutes I will enjoy. I hope you had fun with this topic too, even if it's not really a topic that you are so super aware of or really care too terribly about. May all the gods shower us with some happiness, healing, and love, and wishing you all a happy life, guys. Oh, Kaluna, you're so sweet. I wish you the same, and everyone here as well. Myths teach lessons and cultural values. The world is full of narcissists. Yep, it sure is. No comment. Boop. Very interesting lesson. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. I hope to see you all tomorrow. If you have hung in here this long, please like this video. Please subscribe to this account here. Trying to grow this. I love our little private area, our back room somewhere in YouTube universe. It's super cool. But if we could have more of us, that would be nice as well. Myth is not my cup of tea, but nothing to lose to know it, right? I think so. Marvelous lesson. Oh, thank you, Natalia. Happy to have you back. I hope you continue coming when you have time. It's wonderful to have you here. Yes, already done. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow. Bye.